Did you know? Chola dynasty, established in the 3rd century BCE, held power for an astonishing 1500 years, making them one of the world's oldest and longest ruling dynasties. In this chapter 2 of Class 7 History, Kings and Kingdoms, get ready to uncover the exciting tales of how new rulers and their kingdoms transformed ancient India, shaping its history in surprising ways. The chapter begins with the emergence of several major ruling dynasties in different parts of the subcontinent during this period. Let's delve right into it. Between the 7th and 12th centuries, some major ruling dynasties rose to prominence. In the northern part of India, we had the Gurjara Pratiharas, Palas, Rashtrakutas, and Chamans. Down south, in the southern part of the subcontinent, we had the Cholas, Chalukyas, and Pandyas. These dynasties not only ruled their respective regions but also left behind remarkable architectural and cultural legacies. Let's explore the rise of these new dynasties in India. The emergence of new dynasties. In the early 7th century, in various regions of the subcontinent, there were powerful landlords and warrior chiefs. These individuals were recognized as the subordinates or samanthas by the existing kings. Imagine these samanthas as local leaders who had to pay tribute to their kings, attend their courts, and provide military support. However, ambition knows no bounds, and as some of these samanthas grew in power and wealth, they didn't settle for being mere subordinates. They began declaring themselves as Mahasamantha, Mahamandaleshwara, the great lord of a circle or region. Some of these Mahasamanthas even asserted their independence from their overlords, paving the way for dramatic shifts in power. One such example of a dramatic power shift occurred with the Rashtrakutas in the Deccan. They were once subordinates to the Chalukyas of Karnataka. In the mid-8th century, a Rashtrakuta chief named Dantidurga decided he had enough of being a subordinate. He overthrew his Chalukya overlord and performed a ritual called Hiranyagarbha, literally, the golden womb, with the help of Brahmanas. This ritual was believed to lead to the rebirth of the sacrificer as a Kshatriya, even if he wasn't born as one. Quite the audacious move. Now, let's talk about some enterprising individuals who carved out their own kingdoms. Two noteworthy examples are Kadamba Mayurasharman and Gurjara Pratihara Harichandra. These individuals were Brahmanas who decided to break away from their traditional professions and take up arms. Kadamba Mayurasharman established his kingdom in Karnataka, while Gurjara Pratihara Harichandra did the same in Rajasthan. Their success stories showcase the determination and resourcefulness of these individuals who ventured into the world of politics and warfare. Students, quickly answer this question now. What is the literal meaning of Hiranyagarbha? The correct answer is C. Golden womb. Literal meaning of Hiranyagarbha is golden womb. Hiryagarbha is the source of the creation of the universe or the manifested cosmos in Vedic philosophy, as well as an avatar of Vishnu in the Bhagavata Purana. Here is the Pahari painting of golden cosmic egg Hiranyagarbha. Now, let's delve deeper into the administrative structures and practices within these kingdoms. Administration in the kingdoms. As new kings ascended to power, they embraced grand titles like Maharajadhiraj and Tribhuvanachkravartin. These titles were not just mere words, they carried immense significance in the kingdom's governance. Imagine a king being referred to as the Lord of the Three Worlds, quite a majestic image, isn't it? Power was not concentrated solely in the hands of the king. The kings shared their power with various segments of society, including the Samanthas, peasants, traders, and Brahmanas. The kings obtained resources from producers by persuading them to surrender a portion of what they produced. These resources were vital for financing the king's establishment, constructing temples, and fortifying the kingdom. Revenue collection was a critical aspect of governance. Functionaries responsible for collecting revenue were often recruited from influential families, sometimes even close relatives of the king. This system ensured a steady flow of resources into the kingdom's coffers. Let's now see what were prashastis and land grants. Prashastis and land grants. Prashastis, which were compositions by learned brahmanas. These individuals occasionally played a role in administration and were instrumental in creating narratives that portrayed the rulers in a particular light, often as valiant and victorious warriors. Kings often rewarded brahmanas by granting them land. These land grants were recorded on copper plates, which were handed to the recipients as proof of ownership. An exceptional figure from the 12th century was Kalhana, an author who composed a long Sanskrit poem containing the history of kings who ruled over Kashmir. What set him apart was his critical approach toward rulers and their policies, unlike other writers. Kalhana meticulously researched and used a variety of sources, including inscriptions, documents, eyewitness accounts, and earlier histories, to create a well-rounded and often candid account of history. So, students answer this question now. Prashastis tell us how rulers wanted to depict themselves as. Prashastis, often written by learned brahmanas, were details of the functioning of a king. They may not be literally true. They tell us how rulers wanted to depict themselves as valiant, victorious warriors, etc. Brahmanas were rewarded by grants of land which were recorded on copper plates. Let's discuss the intriguing world of warfare for wealth during ancient times, where kingdoms fight for control and power over valuable territories. Warfare for wealth. A fierce struggle for wealth and control raged for centuries. The mighty Gurjara Pratihara, Rashtrakuta, and Pala dynasties were locked in a relentless battle for dominance over a city called Kannauj. This epic, long-drawn conflict is known as the tripartite struggle. Why? Because it involved not one, not two, but three powerful parties all fighting for supremacy. Think of it as a three-way tug-of-war for control over a strategic and prosperous region. Now, let's talk about a formidable external force that made its presence felt in the subcontinent, who is Sultan Mahmud of Ghazni. He was a relentless raider who repeatedly invaded the subcontinent, nearly every year. One of Mahmud's most notorious acts was the looting of the Somnath temple in Gujarat. But Mahmud wasn't just a warrior. He had a thirst for knowledge too. He entrusted a scholar named Al-Biruni to write a comprehensive account of the subcontinent, providing valuable insights into the region's history. Besides these major dynasties and external threats, there were other kings engaged in warfare. Take the Chauhan rulers, for instance. They ruled over the regions around Delhi and Ajmer. The Chauhans found themselves locked in fierce conflicts with the Chalukyas of Gujarat and the Gahadwalas of western Uttar Pradesh. A notable Chauhan ruler, Prithviraj III, became a legend for his role in history. He achieved a remarkable victory against the Afghan ruler Ghori in 1191 but, sadly, suffered defeat at Ghori's hands in 1192. Let's take a closer look at a remarkable dynasty that left an indelible mark on Indian history. The Cholas. Their journey from humble beginnings to greatness is a captivating story to explore. A closer look, the Cholas. Our story starts with a man named Vijaya, who was a member of the ancient Chola family from Uriyur. In a dramatic turn of events, he seized control of the fertile Kaveri Delta from the Muttariyar, a minor ruling clan under the Pallava kings of Kachipuram. Imagine this as the beginning of a grand adventure, as Vijaya established the city of Tanjavur in the mid-9th century. But the Cholas were not content with just one city. Vijaya's successors continued the dynasty's expansion by conquering neighboring regions. They extended their rule over the territories of the Pandyan and Pallava dynasties to the south and north. The era of Chola greatness truly took off with the reign of Rajaraja, regarded as one of the most influential Chola rulers. In 985, he ascended the throne and further extended the empire's control over these newly acquired areas. Not only was Rajaraja a conqueror, but he also excelled in administration. He implemented reforms that improved the functioning of the empire. The legacy of expansion continued with Rajaraja's son, Rajendra. He took the baton from his father and pursued his policies with remarkable zeal. Rajendra led expeditions into various regions, including the Ganga Valley, Sri Lanka, and even Southeast Asian countries. To support these campaigns, he built a formidable navy, splendid temples and sculpture. Now, let's turn our attention to the artistic and architectural wonders of the Cholas. Rajaraja and Rajendra were not just warriors, they were great builders too. The magnificent temples of Tanjavur and Gangaikonda Cholapuram, constructed under their patronage, are wonders of architecture and sculpture. Chola temples weren't just places of worship, they were the heart of communities. Craft production thrived around these temples, fostering economic growth. Temples were generously gifted with land, not only by the rulers but also by others. This land was used to support various specialists who worked and often lived near the temple. The specialists included priests, garland makers, cooks, cleaners, musicians, and dancers. Temples became centers for economic, social, and cultural activities. One of the most notable crafts associated with Chola temples was the creation of bronze statues. These Chola bronze sculptures are considered among the best in the world. Chola bronze sculptures often depict gods, goddesses, and various deities with lifelike features, intricate jewelry, and elaborate hairstyles. While most of the statues depicted gods, sometimes images were made of devotees as well, showcasing the Cholas' commitment to detail and devotion. An essential aspect of the Chola civilization that contributed to their greatness is agriculture and irrigation. Let's explore how they turned their fertile land into a flourishing kingdom. The Cholas achieved remarkable accomplishments thanks to their advancements in agriculture. They understood the importance of harnessing the power of water for their farms. To begin with, let's look at the lifeline of Chola agriculture, the Kaveri River. This mighty river splits into several smaller channels as it flows towards the Bay of Bengal. These channels often overflow, leaving behind rich, fertile soil on their banks. This natural phenomenon provided the foundation for successful farming. Water from these channels was absolutely essential for agriculture, particularly for the cultivation of rice, a staple crop. While agriculture was already practiced in other parts of Tamil Nadu, large-scale cultivation began in this region from the 5th or 6th century. Preparing the land for cultivation was no small task. In some areas, forests needed to be cleared, while in others, the land had to be carefully leveled. In the Delta region, they even built embankments to prevent flooding, ensuring the safety of their crops. Canals were constructed to carry water to the fields. In many areas, they managed to grow two crops annually. Sometimes, nature needed a helping hand. That's when various irrigation methods came into play. They dug wells to access groundwater, and they built large tanks to collect rainwater. These reservoirs were a crucial source of water during dry periods. But here is the thing about irrigation. It's not just about water, it's about planning, organization, and hard work. The Cholas were meticulous in their approach. They organized labor and resources effectively, maintained these irrigation structures, and decided how the precious water would be distributed among the fields. Many new rulers and villagers actively participated in these activities, realizing the critical role that agriculture played in their society. The administration of the empire. Now, imagine the Chola Empire as a gigantic puzzle. At the core of this puzzle, we have small groups of peasant villages that played a crucial role in the administration. These settlements, organized like pieces of a puzzle, came together to form larger units known as Nadu. These nadus had a pivotal role in executing various administrative tasks such as delivering justice and collecting taxes. But here is where it gets even more interesting. The Chola government kept a watchful eye on the affairs of these nadus, and it wasn't always government officials who held the reins of power. In fact, it was often the wealthy peasants who held significant influence in these administrative units. These well-off landowners were granted special titles and entrusted with vital state positions. Speaking of titles and privileges, the Brahmanas, the learned class of society, had their own distinctive role in the Chola administration. They were often recipients of land grants, which led to the creation of numerous Brahmana settlements across the Kaveri Valley and other parts of South India. Each of these settlements was governed by an assembly, a sabha, to be precise. These sabhas consisted of noteworthy Brahmana landholders. Now, what made these assemblies stand out was their remarkable efficiency. Their decisions and activities were meticulously documented, and you can still find these inscriptions etched onto temple walls today. Imagine the stories these walls could tell. But wait, there is more. Not only were the Ur and Nadu significant, but trader associations called Nagarams also played administrative roles within towns. To get a closer look at how these assemblies were organized, we turn to inscriptions from Uttarmerur in Tamil Nadu. These inscriptions reveal a fascinating system. The Sabha had various committees, each responsible for specific tasks such as maintaining irrigation systems, tending to gardens, and overseeing temples. But how did they select the members of these committees? This part is particularly intriguing. Eligible names were inscribed onto palm leaf tickets, creating a pool of potential committee members. These tickets were then placed in a pot, and the selection process had an unexpected twist. A young boy would draw out the tickets one by one to determine the lucky individuals who would serve on each committee. It's almost like a historical lottery. In conclusion, the study of Class 7 chapter, Kings and Kingdoms, has provided us with a fascinating glimpse into the historical evolution of India during this period. We have witnessed the emergence of new dynasties, each with its unique characteristics and contributions. We have explored the intricate administrative systems that govern these kingdoms, the significance of prashastis and land grants in maintaining social order and prosperity, and the role of warfare in acquiring wealth and expanding territories. Finally, we took a closer look at the remarkable Chola dynasty, which left an indelible mark on Indian history with its cultural achievements and naval supremacy. This chapter has illuminated the rich tapestry of India's past and the diverse paths taken by its rulers in their pursuit of power, prosperity, and cultural